Now in today's video, we're going to be talking a little bit about my dividend income over the last 8 or 9 years of my investing journey. I've been investing in the stock market consistently now for around 8 or 9 years, buying dividend paying stocks and ETFs every single day the market's been open. And utilizing basically all my extra income on a monthly basis, buying more and more shares or more stocks that pay dividends, and then using all those dividends to buy, you guessed it, more dividend paying stocks and ETFs. Now, as of right now, my long-term portfolio averages well north of $90,000 per year in dividends and well north of $7,500 per month. Now, that means I get paid something like $10 per hour, 24 hours a day, every single hour of every single year. Now, this was no means a get-rich-fast journey, so again, in today's video, I want to go through my dividend income over the last several years and share with you guys how much I made every year and some of the most important takeaways and things I wish I would have known earlier. So if you want to hear how my personal dividend income has been transformed over the last decade or so, well, then make sure to stick around, drop a like down below, and let's get right into it. My A to Z dividend investing ebook has helped countless dividend investors get started with their journey. And my custom dividend tracker that I'm constantly using here on the channel has also helped so many investors stay on track and allow them to see their dividend income in real time. Well, today I have another treat for you guys. I'm not only going to offer you my A to Z dividend investing ebook and the custom dividend tracker, but also just for a short limited time, I'm going to be adding in my brand new weekly dividend blueprint ebook to show you how you can get started with weekly dividend ETFs and add this into your investing strategy. This offer is not going to last long, so go ahead and click the first link down below in my description, and you're going to get both ebooks and the custom dividend tracker bundle. But like I said, please act fast because this won't be around for long. Now let's get back into the video. Now, just to go over some of the basics, I'm currently 32 years old. I've been investing, like I said, for around 8 or 9 years now, but I've been saving very, very hard for around 12 or 13. Now, before I started investing in the stock market and buying dividend paying ETFs every single day the market's open, like I've been doing for almost the last decade, I was first investing into things like certified deposits at local banks and just sort of understanding the basics on how it works because I have no background when it comes to investing or financial education whatsoever. Now, after investing into CDs for a while and earning, say, 2, 3, 4% on the CDs, I quickly learned about dividend investing and realized that it's very similar to buying into a CD, but instead you're buying into a stock that might pay you a dividend on a monthly basis or a quarterly basis. Now that's when around now 8 or so years ago, I opened up a Robinhood portfolio and started buying dividend paying stocks right off the bat, moving over some money from my savings accounts, and again, consistently buying stocks ever since. Now, some of my earliest buys back in the day were shares of Realty Income stock, which sadly I was buying those shares for even more than it's currently trading as of right now. But I started buying shares of Realty Income and I was absolutely hooked, knowing that for every single share of Realty Income that I was acquiring back in those days, I was going to get paid like a 21, 22 cent dividend on that following month because that's how much Realty Income paid per share per month back then. And even though I was spending hundreds of dollars to earn a few quarters, I saw the vision and I realized how potentially life-changing this investing strategy could be if I just stay the course and keep investing and then keep investing more and more and more. Now, in my early days, I was also buying some growth names. I was buying a ton of shares of Apple stock. I can't really remember what made me buy so many shares of Apple back in the day. I think it was more or less just because I didn't really know what to invest into and I believed in Apple as a company overall. So I was buying tons of shares of Apple stock in the $90 range, $100 range. And my average cost across all my shares of Apple, I'm super excited to say, is around $118 per share. So in my early days of investing, I wasn't really buying that much high yield stuff necessarily. I was more so buying some Apple shares, buying some Realty Income. And then later on, I found out about QYLD and names like AT&T, Verizon, a lot of the other normal dividend paying stocks. Now, I went through some of my historical dividend payouts, and again, these numbers are all just to be estimated, but I used ChatGPT to help me make a simple chart going off of my dividend income over the last several years. So the previous year in 2024, I think I was sitting at around $80,000 plus per year in dividends, which crazy enough, we're still just in the beginning of 2025, and I'm already above 90. Which, side note, if you guys are interested, my longer term goal this year is going to be to surpass $8,500 per month of dividends, which just based off of some simple math, I'm going to have to buy a boatload of dividend paying stocks and ETFs to even get near that. But that's besides the point. Going back to my early days of investing, year number 1, I made almost no money in dividends. I think I made a few dollars here and there, like I said, from Realty Income. And I think my first ever Realty Income paycheck was like $1.15. Which maybe if I remember, I'll actually even include a screenshot of this on the screen. But by year number 2, my dividend income was already growing, and after a few years of investing pretty consistently, I was already up to the point to where I was earning hundreds of dollars here and there, which felt insane because before then I remember even getting a $20 dividend payout felt pretty big. Now, everyone's going to have their own mindset when it comes to dividend investing, but my personal mindset has always been the same. I have a set amount of expenses that I pay on a monthly basis, just like all of you guys do. And I always thought to myself that if I buy X amount of shares of X, Y, or Z, Then instead of paying that bill with my active income or the cash that I have, I could actually use a company's dividends or an ETF's dividends to pay for that bill entirely. And it wasn't long after I started investing that I actually got to the point to where I was earning enough to where I could completely cover my cell phone bill, then my car insurance, I remember. And then the rest has sort of been history because at this point, I could actually cover all my bills and then some with my dividend income. Now, another crazy milestone that I remember in the early days is when I surpassed on average around $1,000 per month in dividends. Now, that was a huge milestone because at that point, I had enough money coming in consistently to where I could actually use the cash balance in my portfolios to buy a good amount of more shares on a consistent basis. Now, at this point, with thousands of dollars coming in pretty consistently, I mean, I'm averaging around $8,000 per month. I don't have to add another single penny into my portfolio. I just constantly have cash coming in, which I use to buy more shares of more stocks and ETFs ongoingly. And although, trust me, as of right now, it is so tempting to want to use that $8,000 per month on average-ish, again, sometimes higher or lower, and surprise a family member or a friend with something awesome, go on a vacation. I mean, heck, even put a down payment on a car. But still, as of this moment, I'm reinvesting every single dollar, even with a little bit extra that I'm still adding into my portfolio on a consistent basis, buying more shares and more stocks and ETFs, which is an absolute blessing, but still, it's very hard because I would love to touch some of that money and use it for things like expenses or whatever else the case might be. But the idea is that if I do this for long enough, like I said, if this year I can close on an $8,000 per month, and then maybe next year $9,000, $10,000 per month, I could be in a position to where I could pay all my bills and then some by still a relatively young age. Now, like I was saying, a few of the most significant milestones were when I was earning $1,000 per month consistently. That was a milestone I definitely remember like it was today. Another milestone, of course, was when I surpassed my average expenses on a monthly basis. Now, that was a huge milestone because at that point, at least in theory, I could use all my dividend income to pay for all my expenses. Again, not accounting for taxes. I know a lot of you guys might be curious about taxes, but still, just generally speaking, it's a huge help at least, especially for someone like myself that did not come from money whatsoever and started with absolutely zero. Now, lastly, year number 6 to year number 8. How in the world did I basically double my dividend income in just a few years? Well, there's a few things that are involved with this. For one, a lot of the different stocks and ETFs that I do own and that I have owned for a long time, they're going to raise their dividends year after year or quarter after quarter. Now, this is going to give my portfolio a massive increase in income without me having to do a single thing. Names like SCHD, for example, offer a ton of dividend growth, or at least has historically, which again means that in theory, you're going to get paid more and more in dividend income by doing absolutely nothing. Now, also along with that, I've been spending around $8,000 to $10,000 every single month, more or less, buying more shares and more stocks and ETFs. So it's no secret that my dividend income is going to go up significantly. Now, not to mention the last reason on how I raised my dividend income so fast, and I'm not saying that this is good to do or something that you should do, but just what I did, I started buying some higher yielding ETFs, names like SPYI, names like JPIE, names like QQQY, etc., etc. Now, by buying into some of these ETFs that yield, say, 10%, 12%, 14%, well, it's no surprise that my dividend income was going to go up significantly, even compared to the previous numbers. Now, my longer term goal is maybe to get this portfolio stabilized at around $10,000 per month consistently. At that point, I'll probably start using some of the dividends for expenses, or like I said, to help out family and friends. But either way, the pedal is still to the floor. I'm still going to be buying 800 dividend paying stocks and ETFs every single day the market's been open. Nothing's going to change because we still have a lot of work to do. So now that I share with you guys some of my early days of my dividend investing journey, because a lot of you guys are probably curious, and I share with you guys how much dividend income more or less I've been receiving over the years, and especially share with you guys how over the last several years, I really moved my dividend income up by investing in some higher yielding options, and of course, along with that, a ton of dividend increases. What's your personal long-term goal when it comes to dividend investing? Is it to pay for your expenses? Is it to have side money? What is your longer-term goal when it comes to dividend investing? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to please drop a like on it and subscribe for more future content like this. Thanks as always for stopping by, and if you are interested in investing, make sure to check out these recent videos I posted right here.